Breaking news is rocking the world of the NFL, and especially for Dallas Cowboys fans everywhere. Reports are swirling that Aaron Glenn has been hired as the next defensive coordinator for the Cowboys. While official confirmation from the team has yet to come through, the rumors are picking up serious steam, and there's a lot to unpack here. For those of you who don't know, Aaron Glenn has been a name floating around head coaching and coordinator circles for several years now, gaining widespread respect for his leadership, defensive acumen, and ability to connect with players. This potential move could signal a major shift in philosophy for the Cowboys, a franchise that has long struggled to find consistent dominance on the defensive side of the ball. Coming off a season filled with ups and downs where defensive inconsistencies arguably cost them key games, the Cowboys are clearly looking for answers, and Glenn might be that answer. Aaron Glenn is no stranger to NFL success. He had a 15-year playing career, most notably as a Pro Bowl cornerback, and he's carried that high-level experience into his coaching career. His coaching path has seen him rise through the ranks, starting as a scout and later becoming a defensive backs coach with the Cleveland Browns and New Orleans Saints before taking on the defensive coordinator role for the Detroit Lions. With the Lions, Glenn had a mixed start, but grew into the role admirably. His defenses began to show real bite, especially in the 2023 and 2024 seasons, where Detroit transformed from a bottom-tier defensive team into one that could go toe-to-toe with top-tier offenses. His units were fast, physical, and disciplined, exactly what Dallas needs. And let's not forget, Glenn has ties to Dallas. He played for the Cowboys late in his career, and he knows the expectations that come with wearing the star on your helmet. He understands the culture, the pressure, the spotlight. That experience matters, especially in a locker room that's still trying to shake off years of underachievement. Assuming the hire is official or becomes so soon, what would this mean for the Cowboys going forward? First and foremost, it would suggest a significant philosophical shift. Under Dan Quinn, the Cowboys' defense was aggressive and opportunistic, leading the league in takeaways for back-to-back seasons, but they also had trouble with gap discipline, stopping the run, and tackling fundamentals, especially late in the 2024 season. Bringing in Glenn would indicate a desire to bring more structure and toughness into the defensive room. Glenn's approach isn't gimmicky, it's rooted in fundamentals. Press coverage, smart zone rotations, strong linebacker play, and physicality at the line of scrimmage. That's what Dallas has lacked in critical moments, especially in playoff games where the defense often folded under pressure. Glenn's defenses may not always be flashy, but they tend to be sound, reliable, and hard-nosed. There's also the player development angle to consider. Glenn has a proven track record of working closely with young talent and getting the most out of them. Think about what he did with the Lions' young secondary, transforming a raw group into a competent, sometimes even elite unit. He doesn't just plug guys into roles, he develops them. That bodes well for the Cowboys' young stars like Micah Parsons, Darren Bland, and others. Parsons in particular could thrive under Glenn's guidance. While Parsons has already emerged as one of the NFL's premier defenders, there is a sense that he's been asked to do too much, rushing the passer, dropping into coverage, playing off-ball linebacker, and that inconsistency in role has sometimes limited his overall impact. Glenn could bring a more focused, strategic approach to Parsons' usage, maximizing his strengths while helping him refine the finer aspects of his game. Another major factor to consider is scheme fit. Glenn's defensive philosophy is adaptable. While in Detroit, he ran both 3-4 and 4-3 looks, depending on the personnel and matchup. He favors press man coverage, but isn't married to it, often adjusting to the strengths of his secondary. That kind of flexibility would be key in Dallas, like where the defense has a mix of elite pass rushers, ball hawking corners, and some gaps in run defense that need to be addressed. Glenn's ability to tweak his system week to week gives him an edge over more rigid coordinators. This also opens the door for the Cowboys to make better use of their depth. One criticism of Dallas over the years has been their inability to rotate effectively or adapt when injuries hit. Glenn, having dealt with similar issues in Detroit, has shown he can pivot when necessary, a trait that could make Dallas more resilient over the course of a 17-game season. There's also the question of leadership and locker room control. One of the recurring issues for the Cowboys in recent years has been an apparent lack of accountability on defense. Too often, players have freelanced or missed assignments with little consequence. Glenn is known for holding players to a high standard. He commands respect, not just because of his playing background, but because of the way he teaches the game. Players often speak about how Glenn keeps it real, and that authenticity is crucial in today's NFL. Veteran players respond well to it, and younger players need it. He's not a screamer, but he's not afraid to challenge his players either. In a locker room like Dallas, filled with big personalities and high expectations, that kind of leadership could be the glue that holds everything together through adversity. Looking at the bigger picture, Glenn's potential hire could also impact the Cowboys' draft and free agency strategy. If Glenn is the guy, expect Dallas to prioritize versatile defensive backs, tough linebackers, and smart, gap-disciplined defensive linemen. Glenn's scheme requires players who can think on the fly, communicate well, and stay disciplined in their roles. It also values versatility, linebackers who can cover, safeties who can play in the box, or deep corners who aren't afraid to tackle. That could reshape how the Cowboys approach the offseason. It could mean fewer flashy boom or bust types and more focus on high floor, high IQ football players. It also could result in better alignment between coaching staff and front office, something the Cowboys have struggled with in years past. Too often the talent collected hasn't fit the system it's been drafted into. Glenn, having worked in both scouting and coaching roles, understands how to bridge that gap. This move could also signify Jerry Jones taking a step back and allowing the football people to make more of the decisions. That's something Cowboys fans have wanted for years. Hiring someone like Glenn, who isn't necessarily a media darling, but is widely respected within NFL circles, suggests that the team might be prioritizing substance over sizzle. It's the kind of move that winning organizations make. Not just trying to make a splash, but making a decision based on fit, culture, and long-term vision. Hey, whether that's the new trend in Dallas remains to be seen, but if it is, Glenn's hire could be the first real indicator. That said, it's not all sunshine and roses. Glenn's defenses, while improving in Detroit, weren't perfect. There were stretches where the Lions gave up big plays, struggled with red zone execution, and failed to close out games. Those issues won't automatically disappear in Dallas. He'll have to adapt to a new environment, work with a different set of players, and handle the intense scrutiny that comes with coaching the Cowboys. The margin for error in Dallas is razor thin. One or two bad performances and the calls for change will be deafening. Glenn will have to come in with a clear plan, a strong voice, and the flexibility to handle both adversity and expectation. Ultimately, though, this feels like a move that aligns with what the Cowboys need at this moment. They've had talent on defense for years, but haven't consistently put it all together. Glenn could be the missing piece, not just a schematic mind, but a culture setter, a developer of talent, and a stabilizing force. If the reports are true, and Glenn is indeed the next Cowboys defensive coordinator, fans should be cautiously optimistic. It's not a flashy hire, but it could be the right one. It could be the move that finally turns this defense from good to elite, from talented to championship caliber. Time will tell. But one thing's for sure, this is one of the most intriguing coaching moves the Cowboys have made in recent memory. And if it plays out the way many believe it can, it might just be the decision that brings them one step closer to the